So when you go to a doctor and you had injuries, probably he will assume that you need some thermotherapies like an ice bag. But there are two arising questions. First, what is the best temperature for your problem? The second one is, how long should you use? And for these questions, even the doctor doesn't know the answers. There are lots of patients who meet with this problem. We can go from dentistry to gynecology, from dermatology and dentistry, dermatology. Okay. In a warm and humid weather, people in the dentistry have really big and swollen faces. We assume that, and that's a biological hypothesis, that it is about the immune cells' decision whether they want to eject the problem from the body or they want to eat it in some ways. So with the temperatures changing, we can help the immune cells to decide whether they need to eject it or need to eat it inside the skin. So talking about the problems, an optimal device have to be in a temperature intervallum which is a not harmful temperature intervallum. So it is between 25 and 45 Celsius degrees, which is good for your skin. Below and above that, it is really dangerous to your skin. It keeps the temperature for hours thanks to the batteries, and it is also variable thanks to the pouch. There's a small device that should be connected to communicate with this device. So the most optional one was the smartphone to communicate with, and therefore you can operate also the temperature, the kind of therapy what you should use, and also you can always change your parameters that is changing. For example, if you want to optimize, to personalize the therapy that you're using, you always need to check for your parameters like your height, your weight, and that determines your skin conductivity. The server, how it works, actually. The server sends the suggested treatment, or in this case, the suggested temperature to the device, which was communicated by the client device, which was originally the smartphone. This was our zero prototype, which made by me. It was really easy to put together because we didn't do a engineering innovation, but the field that we were using in it, so the medical field, was really innovative. This was a measuring work. So our device's head is a microcontroller. The hand is the peripheral part, which is thermoelectric cooler, and the nerve is the thermistor. And the other electronic components is to optimize the electricity for this device. This is how we measure the electricity to optimize the device. This is now how it looks like. We want to optimize in the future to be less weighted and to decrease the price of it. This is how we made the 3D printed case. Thanks to Moform company, we had a really easy work to do with the 3D printing. Here you can see the central unit. There's a microcontroller, the central electronics, and here you can also charge and switch it on and off. The peripheral unit has the thermoelectric cooler and the thermistor, and it is connected to the central unit by a cable. Here you can see the device's smart application. Okay. So here you can describe your parameters, so the patient's parameters, your disease's parameters, and the treatment. And according to the data, the treatment is always changing. So depending how effective is your therapy, it will be also continuously changing. So we're always measuring data about your treatment, about the parameters of the patient, and we're doing a big data analysis with anonymous data, so it's not connected with your emails and even not connected with your location and with your name, but it's always on focus on your treatment and the patient's parameters. Here's our team. Here you can see the IT and medicine manager. I'm the inventor and the CEO of our company. And as it is written down here, I'm a high school student. We had several helps with the Hungarian Innovation Association and some inventors. And thanks to the Hungarian Innovation Association, I had the opportunity to go to several competitions as well. For example, at 2017, I won a gold medal at the CASTIC, Chinese Adolescent and Technological and Scientific competition. And in the last year, I was at the Shanghai TV at the Junior Edition show, and I won the audience award with 15 million people votes. So summarizing some messages, we have the first international patent to say that we made the first self-learning therapeutic device. And now I will demonstrate how it works. Okay. So this is what I was talking about. Here you can see the central unit as I was wearing it. This is the peripheral unit, which is the thermoelectric cooler. And now, again?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Just to show it, this was our a competitor. So as you can see, they used this this kind of thing, which is for the temperature, to keep the temperature for a longer time. Our first or main issue was to develop the temperature conductivity, because the skin is the best material that keeps the temperature for a longer time. So conduct the heat in a local place was really a hard challenge. Okay, so now I will connect it to the central unit. And turn it on. And let's see. So here are the parameters of the patient. You can always change it as you want. And that determines the therapy's effectiveness. Here you can see the location. So now I'm wearing it here, let's say. And here you can see the diseases parameters. So that there are lots of diseases that are using some kind of thermal therapies. And here are symptoms by the doctor. And here you can say your response to the doctor. And so this is the device. Now I'm using as a patient, and we're calculating it with an absolute temperature. And to demonstrate that this actually works, this is a heat-sensitive book. So now I'm just playing to show how it works. So as you can see, it is heated now, this part, and that was my presentation about my device. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Melinda. All right, so you have the chance now to ask the questions that have been on your mind as you've been watching this. And we are a little pressed for time. These are running a little longer, so we're just going to ask one question. I think the best question here is, how does this tie in with a doctor? Can I do this myself, or do I need a doctor on hand to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the main problems was to always communicate with the doctor. So we're using, so we're asking doctors to connect to this application, and then therefore they can always communicate with the patient if there is problem. But we want to optimize this device to be used only by the customers and the patients. So therefore there will be no need for a doctor always. But if some problems arises, then there will be a doctor who can always respond for our problems.
Great, thank you, Melinda.